What's up, everybody? We're back.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back to the Metalhead's Journey. Hey, so we're back on our top 20 list, multiple top 20 list countdown here. We're back to hair metal. This is the number 15 hair metal album of all time. This is Quiet Riot with the seminal album Metal Health. We're going to do a quick history of the band and the album here, and then we'll get right into it. Quiet Riot formed in 1973 as an American heavy metal band from Los Angeles. The band was formed originally by guitarist Randy Rhoads and bassist Kelly Garney. The original lineup featured Rhoads and Garney with lead vocalist Kevin Dubrow and drummer Drew Forsyth, though that version of the band was mired in turmoil that would eventually see Garney fired for making death threats towards Dubrow. And we're not talking just death threats. There's a gun involved. There was like a pretty significant fight. Like, it's pretty rough. Which is really
guns and alcohol.
Yeah, that's really what caused Randy Rhoads to leave the band. That and joining Ozzy's band.
Yeah,
no big deal. Their most commercially successful lineup consisted of Dubrow alongside guitarist Carlos Cavazo, bassist Rudy Sarzo, who also joined Ozzy's band, and drummer Frankie Banali. And in 1983, released their breakthrough album Metal Health, which is known for being the first heavy metal album to top the Billboard album charts.
Wow.
The band has several hit singles which charted on the Billboard Hot 100, including Come On Feel the Noise, Mama We're All Crazy Now, which I didn't know this, are both cover songs from the glam rock band Slade. And Metal Health, Bang Your Head. The band is ranked as number 100 on VH1's 100 Greatest Artists of Hard Rock. Metal Health, released in 1983, is the band's third studio album. It was the first one that they actually got an American release on. They have two self-titled albums, essentially. Basically, it's just Quiet Riot 1, Quiet Riot 2 that came out in Japan only. Due to its commercial success, Metal Health is regarded by some as the catalyst that opened the door for the popularity of hair metal. This album went on to sell 10 million copies worldwide and 6 million in the U.S. This album produced two singles, Come On Feel the Noise and Metal Health, Bang Your Head.
Ooh, that's a lot of copies.
Yeah.
Dave, all you've been doing for the last couple of weeks is just shit talking this record.
That's true.
All right. This record opened the door for hair metal. I mean, it's not necessarily like the first one, but it's the one that put hair metal on the map. It's the first metal
So it's the one we need to blame
ever go to number
the
one.
Stain of hair metal. Great.
Dude, either blame or fucking like revere for creating this epic genre.
Now, look, I will say this. Great album cover, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Not representative of the music inside it, but great album cover nonetheless. I love the Man in the Iron Mask mascot of the group, because I think they reused this guy at least one other time. Just based on what I'm looking, I just skimmed through their other albums. But no, I will say I have been talking a lot of mess on about this record, and we'll get into some of my reasoning for that. This record is just, it exists for me. It just exists. I think this record is hard carried by the first two songs.
Disagree. I couldn't possibly disagree more.
I think the singles are not representative of the album as a whole.
Exactly. The singles are terrible.
That's
and the rest of this album is very good.
It's not. The other songs are not memorable at all.
Wow.
Outside of one of them is decent. There's not a bad song on here, in my opinion. There's not a song on here that I'm like, this is absolutely hurting my ears. Like, please make it stop.
False.
That's untrue as well.
Yeah.
But this album just does absolutely nothing for me. Like, this was the hardest 10 songs, even though my score is not going to represent it being terrible. It's just so blah to me. Like, this album was such a chore to get through every single time. Like I just did not enjoy myself.
Now, do you think that's because you think the album is objectively not that great, or have you fallen into the hair metal fatigue that I myself was feeling fairly recently? Not necessarily on this album. I'll get into that for my overall thoughts, but does that have anything to do with it, or do you think objectively you just weren't feeling it?
I think objectively this record is just mid as hell. Like I think this record is
You weren't feeling the noise, huh?
I mean, I'm going to go ahead and come out here with my hot take. It doesn't. We don't. I know it's not at this point, but this is representative of like my argument. My hot take is that the guitarist for this band is actually good, but you wouldn't know it based on 90% of the material that's in this album. They don't really let him like cut loose on the guitar, except for the one song "Battle Axe."
But why is that necessarily a bad thing? We've heard bands that do that, like Extreme with Nuno Bettencourt. I mean, that dude is just fucking running up and down the fretboard the whole album, and it's dog shit.
Okay, my point is
that Extreme album is one of the worst we've ever done.
Okay, I'm just saying that, like, they have a really good guitar player that they do nothing with on this record, basically, or they do very little. I'm not gonna say he doesn't have like little moments here and there, but like again, outside of Battle Axe. Like, to me, one of the standout features of hair metal or hair metal or glam metal, one of like the key factors is having a great guitarist. I feel like that is what is like quintessential, and you really don't get that too much on this record.
Now, to be fair, to play the other side of the coin, if this is the album that launched hair metal, then hair metal would have evolved beyond this album. So it's hard to say that this is the standard when it's setting the standard, and then everybody took off from there and maybe created the sound that you're more familiar with.
It doesn't.
I think that's a fantastic call, Jason. I think if we go back to the new metal list that we did with the Coal Chamber album, where Coal Chamber was typically considered to be the second band or the second album of new metal. I mean, new metal went way beyond whatever was on that Coal Chamber album. So, I mean, look, this is just the starting point in certain cases.
So, needless to say, it's not good to me. Like, it's just whatever.
All that being said, this album blows.
Yeah, I mean, I blow. It doesn't blow. It's just like
it just didn't do it for you.
It just exists.
I had an opposite feeling with this record. So most of my experience doing the hair metal list has been the first listen of the album has been the best listen, and then subsequently every time after that it's gotten worse. And for me, it was totally the opposite. From like the first time I heard this album, I was like, oh man, like it's more of the same. Here we go. And then like the more time I got to spend with it, I went to Vegas, so I got to listen to it on the plane a lot. Like I really got to spend a lot of time with it, and it's like the songs really started growing on me. I felt like there was actual real quality in some of the songwriting, not all the songwriting, right? Not in the song "Let's Get Crazy" where he says you want to kiss you on the lips, but not the ones on your face. That might not be some of the best songwriting in the history of time, all right? But there were some other good moments on there. So I don't know. I found myself having fun with the record mostly over time, and I left really feeling like this is. Since Dave is breaking protocol here, I'll go ahead and give you my hot take. I think this is the best album on this list so far. I think this fucking runs circles on the Wasp record for me.
No, not a chance.
No.
I mean, look. It may not be that big of a hot take to the community because it is ranked over that album, obviously. But I mean, I think by the end of this thing, I think this album should be ranked higher than 15. It would be my guess. So I enjoyed it. I thought there was a lot of good moments on it. Jonah, what'd you think?
I'm going to agree just about with everything you said. I thought overall the sound and vibe of this album were great. It's very poppy in a lot of it, but I think that's just indicative of the times. Like it has a real 80s vibe, and that's one of the things I really liked about it. on some of the tracks in particular, like Don't Want to Let You Go, what else? Breathless. Those are just kind of like classic 80s jams. And I dug it. I dug it a lot. One of my biggest highlights of the album is the mix, particularly the bass. You can hear the bass; it's nice and present up front throughout the entire album. So that gets a big thumbs up for me. I thought the vocal performance was outstanding by not only the lead singer, but like a lot of the choruses of the song. Because at least on Wikipedia, all of the band members are listed as being like backing vocals, and it had kind of almost like this. I actually wrote this down in my notes as well. It had almost kind of like a Queen vibe, the way the entire.
Hey.
I knew Jason was going to pick up on that too, but it had almost kind of a Queen vibe, the way all of the band members were singing in unison and harmonizing with each other. You know, I thought that was really cool. And Dave, I completely 100% disagree with you. I thought Cavazo was a shining example of guitar playing on this album. All of his solos were fantastic. Obviously, Battle Axe is really good, but like, you know, even though he wasn't necessarily the spotlight in every song.
No, I don't think he was like hardly ever featured.
I thought that all of the guitar work was really good. All the solos were really good, and like I said, the mixing was really good. In particular, just the overall vibe and everything. It really stuck me as you know. I'm gonna go ahead and jump to my hot take as well. Josh, you hit it out of the park. I think this is easily the best hair metal album we've done on this list so far.
My man.
I don't think it is like, it doesn't reach legendary status or anything like that, not even really close. But I think it's a very good album, and I enjoyed 80% of it, which is funny because there's 10 tracks and we're gonna have to cut a couple later. So
there you go.
That I think that checks out. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed it. For me, it was a little hard to get through at first, but as I kind of, I guess maybe I understood where they were going with the music and maybe what they were trying to say, I appreciated it more for what it was. So it did grow on me as well. There were some moments where I still felt a little bit of that hair metal fatigue, but no, I thought overall it was a good album.
Hey Dave, did you hear the guitar riffs and everything that was on the record? Like, did you hear the songs? That's good because the guitar player was playing them, so he was featured there. Go ahead, Jason. What'd you think?
I had a similar experience to you and Jonah. When I first put this, it's a strange experience. So I usually just kind of blow through the first time, and you know, I'm familiar with the first two tracks, big hits, and kind of, you know, went through the rest of the album like, it's not bad, it's not bad. And then the second and third time I went through it, I was like, man, this is like a tale of two albums. This is the first two songs and then another completely different album. And once I kind of just accepted that, and I just listened to track 3 through 11,
3 to 10.
The more I started listening to it,
Yeah.
The more I started listening to it, the more I actually enjoyed it. And I'm glad we got the extra week on this.
I'm not,
because I really came around on quite a few of the songs.
So it's kind of like a 6 degrees of inner turbulence. There's like the first like 5 songs that are just kind of cheeks, and then there's the actual 45-minute song, which is excellent.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much. So in the end,
Not quite as long though.
I don't really have a hot take, but I was never a fan of Quiet Riot, but this album has made me actually want to listen to some more of this era of Quiet Riot.
Jason, I'll step in because I had a second hot take. It was a little warmer take. But like, could we have restructured the album listing, the track listing a little bit better? Like, listen, I get it. Those were the 2 singles, but like, Dave, do you think, being the resident grump here right now, do you think that like putting those 2 songs mixed in with the album somewhere, like maybe in the 3 and the 7 spot with the other, like, do you think that changes your enjoyment of the album at all?
100%.
Okay.
100%, because it's like I mentioned. Well, my opinion is I think those songs are easily the best of the 10 songs. Now, obviously, that's all subjective, but like they were the singles, so somebody thought they were representative of the band, right? Or that they would sell records. I I hate
Yeah.
I hate that they're the first two because the other
I agree.
songs really don't have the same vibe.
Yeah.
Not really. In fact, I think those first two songs are the most like metal
Metal.
of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
album.
And the rest is a rock album.
I think you got to open it. I think you got to open it with Metal Health. I think that's a fucking great opening track. But I think you could put "Come On, Feel the Noise" like in the
Halfway
7th
through.
spot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think the track listing sucks. But you know, they're trying to sell record. Like who are we, right? Like they sold 10 million copies. Like obviously they did something right, but like it definitely, like when you're analyzing the record and you're doing what we're trying to do, which is like really critiquing it, I think that was a mistake.
Yeah. Jason, who's your MVP?
Oh, it's DeBrow. Nope, it's not. It's not even a question.
Me too.
For this era of vocalists, like I usually don't get into this, but I thought he was super strong on a lot of this of these songs, and it's his range doesn't go so crazy that you can't sing along, even though we're gonna sound terrible in the car or whatever.
Mhm.
But it's not so high pitched that you can't reach it, and it's not so low that it doesn't sound realistic. So I thought he did great.
Yeah, for me, it's got to be DeBrow. I mean, I don't think the music in and of itself is like it's fine, but I don't think it's like he's the only one that stands out for me.
Jonah, you gonna make it a sweep, or you gonna go with Rudy Sarzo?
No, I'm actually going to throw some love at Cavazo again. I really enjoyed.
my man.
I really enjoyed his guitar work on the album. Like I said before, it was a standout for me. Just about all of the solos are top notch, and I can't remember which song it was specifically. I may not have written it down, but there's one song in particular where his solo it's on another level. Not counting Battle Axe, which is just pure solo.
Obviously, it wasn't very memorable.
Got him. I went with Kevin DuBrow for MVP as well. All right, hey, we'll get into top tracks here real quick. For me, I did have an honorable mention. I'm going to go with Breathless as my honorable mention. Just a great song, great chorus, great vocal performance. Number 3 for me, Don't Want to Let You Go. Dude, just some straight up just 80s cheese, but it's so good. Number 2, probably the second most metal song on this album, Run for Cover. Love this song. Great chorus. This was an absolute banger from day one for me. And look, I was talking shit about the singles earlier on, but you can't deny it. Metal Health, Bang Your Head, so good. Again, I think if we were doing a bracket for like best opening track of a metal album of all time, I think this would have to be in serious conversation for the 15 or 16 spot. Like, and it would be maybe a little lower down the list, but I think you'd have to have a conversation about it. But love the guitar tone out of the opening of that. I love the scream. Like, dude, this song, again, it's not necessarily indicative of the rest of the experience you're about to have, but man, that song gets you fucking amped up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Go ahead, yeah.
So I have an honorable mention as well. Just Battle Axe, just because, like I said, I can't stop singing Cavazo's praises. For me, number 3 is going to be Love's a Bitch. I actually wanted to hate this song just based on the title. But the more I listen, it's good. Yeah, the more I listen to it, I'm like, man, this chorus, it goes hard.
Yeah.
The lyrics or whatever, but I thought it was a really good song. That's my number 3. Number 2, I went ahead and just took the easy answer. Come On, Feel the Noise. I mean, that song, it's just too catchy. Once it gets stuck in your head, it doesn't come out. And then, yeah, Josh, you nailed it. Number 1, Metal Health, for all the same reasons.
I'll go next, and I'll peel back the curtain because I don't normally review the way that Jason and Jonah review, but like I don't score each individual song. I did in this case because
he was having such a hard time with the album itself.
Well, yeah, no, like legitimately, because I was struggling so much. Like my brain, or I should say, my heart wanted to just give this record like a 4 or whatever. Like I wanted to just give it a 4. Because I was like, this is, I'm forcing myself to listen to this. But I was like, you know what? Let me be more constructive. Let me just not just shit on the record. So I scored each individual song. And spoilers, outside of the first two, there's only one other song that gets above us that gets a 6 or above. Everything else is in the 5s. So my number 3 is Thunderbird. I think it's a great song. Great.
I got a hot take coming on that one.
It's not really a metal song, but it's like a ballad-ish kind of song. And then I didn't score Battle Axe because it's literally just a guitar solo. But number 2, Come On Feel the Noise. I didn't know it was a cover, although I feel like I should.
Yeah, me neither.
I should have known that, but I didn't know it was a cover. Unfortunately, it's the second best song on the record for me. And number 1 is Metal Health. It's a great song. It is a memorable, iconic song of that era, and I think it still rocks really hard. I wish that was the direction of the whole album. I feel like I would have enjoyed and I think that's my biggest problem with this record is like I know this group is capable, like what this group like seemingly was capable of. Maybe not. Maybe Metal Health was just lightning in a bottle. Like that song was just like a one-off thing that they did. But I wish more of the record was like that. I feel like that's the record I would have enjoyed.
Well, so that was the last song that Randy Rhoads actually like wrote and everything and left for that band is what happened with that.
I feel like you just made that up because you like Randy Rhoads.
I did.
Okay.
Because you don't like Randy Rhoads because you're stupid.
No, I don't dislike Randy Rhoads. I just think Randy Rhoads gets way
Let's
more
go back
hype.
to the Ozzy episode. All you do is take a shit on Randy Rhoads
I think
the whole fucking time.
Dude, no. The problem is that I think Randy Rhoads, similar to Kurt Cobain, gets way more praise now that he's no longer here.
Not. How dare you put him in the same fucking vein as
because
Kurt
that's
Cobain.
what happens when people die too young. All of a sudden they are geniuses and they could do no wrong and they're just perfect.
It's because there's 2 classic albums with Randy Rhoads on it and there's all the bullshit that Kurt Cobain did.
Slow down, pump the brakes, kid.
Yeah, like
Jason, give us your top tracks already before I crawl through here and punch Dave in his jowls.
All right, so I have an honorable mention, but I also have a tie. So I'm actually going to list like 5 songs.
Oh shit, Jason's going 5-piece here.
Yeah.
So Breathless is my honorable mention.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a tie at 3rd with Love's a Bitch and Thunderbird. And number 2, kind of went against the grain with you guys. Metal Health is at number 2.
What?
And it's because Come On Feel the Noise for me was one of the first like rock songs that I can remember back in the day.
that's great.
Jason saw it was spelled C-U-M when he was a kid and he was like, oh shit.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
But I do have a hot take here, and I'm glad you brought it up, Jonah. If Queen put out Thunderbird,
Bless you.
Thank you.
would that be like a 9+ song for you?
I got 9+ for you over here right now, but the answer would be no.
Dude,
No, it's not
that song
good.
sounds like a Queen song to me.
It does.
And
It sounds
Queen-
100% like a Queen song.
If you just gave Queen that song and kept the arrangement the same way, but allowed them to incorporate a little bit of what Queen
Make it
does.
their own.
I mean, it would be better, like having like Freddie Mercury sing it.
That's what I'm saying. But
I mean,
as
that's
good
like an
as
ice
Flowers
cold
on
take.
vocals.
That's not a hot take. That's an ice cold take. Hey, so if this better band performed this song, it would be better.
It just sounds like a Queen song, and if
It does. It has Queen tendencies for
That's what
sure.
I'm saying. So, like, what I'm saying is if this was a Queen song, Quiet Riot was nothing to do with this, and it came out as a Queen song, this would be a 9+ for me.
Okay.
All right. Well, look, we'll move into the next category here. So we all know that metal albums, the real sweet spot for the classic metal albums is 8 songs on the record. So every show we like to cut these albums down to 8 to make what the classic 8 would be. And so Jason and I were talking the other day, and he was telling me his Queen Thunderbird theory. And I couldn't have been more against it because, dude, I thought Thunderbird was fucking butt cheeks. Like, I was not digging this song whatsoever. So I went back and listened to it some more. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's okay. Like, it's not as bad as maybe as I thought. And then I did some more research on it and found out they actually wrote the song about Randy Rhoads because they wrote this after Randy had passed away in that plane crash. And that immediately raised it a couple of levels for me because the meaning of the song is fantastic about one of the great guitar players of all time. So that did not make it into my bottom two. Obviously, Battle Axe is going to make it. Yeah, that's right. Whatever. Obviously, Battle Axe is going to make it in the bottom two just because it's instrumental, and who's got time for that? But man, the real worst song on this album, and it's not close. This is one of the worst songs maybe written in the history of time. Slick Black Cadillac. Yikes! Like, I couldn't. Like, after about 3 listens, it was a skip every time I listened. Every time I came back around to it. So those are my 2 cuts.
I'll go next. I wouldn't cut Battle Axe because it's like,
yeah, because you're dumb.
No, because it's actually like a good moment in the album. I just didn't score it because it's just a minute and 39 seconds of guitar solo. That's good. Like, the album needs more of this. I think it's easily songs 3 and 4 coming right off of Come On Feel the Noise. Like, dude, those 2 songs, Don't Want to Let You Go and Slick Black Cadillac, dude, those are butt cheeks. Those songs suck.
Don't Want to Let You Go is so good.
I don't want to hear this song anymore.
Yeah,
that's what it should be called. Fuck that song.
Yeah, I don't want to let you ride with me on Sunday to the Love Bites concert.
Dude, I don't want to let you go away. I don't know what I'm saying, but that song sucks. And Slick Black Cadillac, I couldn't agree more, Josh. That song is absolute, like, fucking super butt cheeks. That song sucks.
That's terrible.
Like, I actually, like, if you delete those 2 songs, if you go from Come On Feel the Noise straight into Love's a Bitch, like, I might enjoy the record, like, a little bit more. Like, I mean, I would, like, objectively, I would enjoy it more because those are low on my. Somebody go.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
I'll go. Okay,
Jonah, that's what I meant to say.
I couldn't agree more with Dave on these takes. For me, the worst song on the album is the cheesy "Don't Want to Let You Go."
God, that song sucks.
The worst song on the album is "Don't Want to Let You Go."
I have "Don't Want to Let You Go."
Followed closely by Slick Black Cadillac.
Jonah, let's go create our own show.
I have "Don't Want to Let You Go" at a 4.6 and Slick Black Cadillac at a 4.8. I think "Don't Want to Let You Go" is worse than Slick Black Cadillac. They both suck.
Dave, I got it at a 4.4.
Okay, so we're right there. It's like, dude, and I actually have a note. It's the only song I have a note on. I said drags on, repeats the lines "Don't Want to Let You Go" far too many times.
Dave, that's what a song is, okay? That's what a song is. The title is usually in the song.
Okay, but it's literally, dude, like, literally, it says "Don't Want to Let You Go." Like, the song is 4 minutes and 43 seconds. And I think 4 minutes of that is him saying, "Don't want to let you go." Like, dude.
The guy who likes 45-minute songs is mad because this song drones on forever.
Yeah, because the songs that I like that are long actually do different things throughout the song.
Because they're different doesn't mean it's good. Jonah, save us, please.
Dude,
all right, well,
a Slick Black Cadillac.
I'm definitely going to hard disagree with Dave and Jason on "Don't Want to Let You Go." I think that song it's a jam. It like I said, it's one of those 80s vibe jams on this album. It's more poppy. It's more poppy, than a lot of the other songs, but I enjoyed it. And I'm actually going to disagree with all 3 of you on Slick Black Cadillac. If we go back to the whole Queen thing, I think Queen would make that song.
I don't disagree.
I mean, Queen would make every one of these songs better.
No, I'm saying that is the type of song that Queen would write.
Yeah.
And
I just
make.
don't like it.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was cheesy. Like, look, it's hella cheesy. It's so cheesy. But the vocals are really good. It's catchy.
Look. I had that song stuck in my head at work Sunday, dude, and I just wanted to shoot myself.
So anyway, all that to say, those are not in my bottom 2. And I'm actually going to go take it a step further. So my first cut, I think easily the worst song on the album for me is "Let's Get Crazy."
That's
it's
not a
the
good song either, really.
It's the obligatory horny anthem that you kind of have to have when it comes to hair metal.
That's fine. That's fair.
But it's very generic. The solo's good, but other than that, it's kind of just a generic, glam rock.
It was my
song.
third worst song.
It's better than Little Jack Horny, though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but that's not saying much.
No.
And then for me, the second cut is gonna come from Run for Cover. That song I feel also has a bit too much just kind of generic formula. It's kind of formulaic a little bit, in my opinion. The main riff is really good, but again, like when everything else on the album just has so much more substance to it, in my opinion, that one kind of stands out to me as just being a little bit too generic. So those are going to be my two cuts.
Jonah, why you hurt me, man? That's a great song.
It's not bad,
Great.
but it's one of the weaker ones for me.
Great. Anyway, hey, so we'll move on to our last category here. This is where we like to give a score for the album. And just to give you guys some context, normal score for a lot of folks out there, or an average, would be a 7. For us, it's a 5. So anything that's 4.9 and below, that's various levels of we would not recommend this album. Anything 5 and above, various levels of we would recommend the record. Anything 9 to 10, it's an all-time classic record.
I'll go first because
I think based on this,
score.
I think I'm going to have the highest score, so I'll go last.
Look, I think my score is going to surprise you because it's not going to be nearly as low as I'm making it out. And again, that is because like my top 3 songs are very good scores, and the rest of the album is just like in the 5s or whatever. So I came out of this with a 6.1. I'd recommend the record. I don't think it's terrible to listen to. Like the songs that I would cut, yeah, I don't ever want to hear those again. But the rest of the album is whatever. Like it's fine. It's fine. I feel like the people, the musicians, everyone involved could have made a better record. Like they had the talent, and they showcase it a few times here and there sparingly, but just for my money, it just doesn't do it enough for me. 6.1.
Hey, dude. 10 million records sold disagrees, bro.
Well, there's a lot of dumbass people in this world.
Starting with David. Go ahead, Jason.
I don't know who that is.
For me, if you took out the 2 songs, track 3 and 4, this would be in the mid to high 7s. This is a really good album with 2 great iconic songs. I gave it a 6.9.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, Jonah.
Shockingly, mine is actually not as high as that, but I thoroughly enjoyed the album. Save for a few low points. Like I said, I don't think it is legendary status by any means, but I think it definitely gets a recommend for me. Slightly above average, all the way through. I ended up with a 6.6.
Jonah, I'm only bringing this up because of a statement you made earlier, so I'm going to allow you to correct something. You mentioned this being the best hair metal album on the list, but you gave Wasp a 7.
Overall, I may have to amend that Wasp score.
Okay. Well, we'll circle back to that at a later date.
Just say Wasp isn't hair metal.
That was part of my argument back then. Yes,
because it's not.
Okay. Well, I'm bringing that up. We can circle back later.
We'll have to circle back later
in a month when we hit this list up again. Josh, where are you at?
So I definitely have the highest score for this. I mean, look, it's important to realize, like, we're talking about hair metal here. So, like, saying this is the best album on this list, it's like saying, 72 seasons. Like 72 seasons is the best Metallica record, right? Like, it's just like
not true.
It's fine. This wouldn't make like the top 50, top 100 metal albums list of all time for me. No, but I think it's a good hair metal album for sure. I left enjoying it. I gave it a 7.3.
Okay. That leaves this with a 6.73, which, look, again, sounds low for a lot of folks. That's a B tier score for us.
Yeah, it's a B album.
Yeah. It is not the best hair metal album we've scored on the list so far.
It's because Wasp exists.
Yeah, it's because Wasp exists.
Is it just Wasp?
Yeah, it's just under Wasp. Wasp at a 7.3 overall. But 6.73. This beats out everything else.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, not against Wasp, but I mean the other stuff.
Yeah. Overall, I think this album was fine, and we definitely recommend it in general. I think if you enjoy this era and you want to take a peek at the beginning, this is a good place to start.
All right. Well, hey, if you would recommend this video in general, then go ahead and hit the like, hit the subscribe. We're putting out weekly metal content right now. We got metal reactions, metal reviews, metal time machines, and metal brackets, and all kinds of other cool shit. And hey, in the meantime, live long and prosper.
Take it easy, everybody.
Later.
Peace.